healing rays. 420 patients, we stand as one. Safe access for everyone. Oh, we rise up, lifted higher. Medicine fueled by love and fire. Together we blaze, together we laugh. Patients for safe access. That's the path.
The following production has been brought to you by the Hippie Broadcasting Network, WTHC Radio, and Stoner Records. Now, here's your host, Summer Parker.
Yay! Hey guys, what's up? We are back with our weekly podcast, Patients for Safe Access. And to my, I believe on your screen is going to be to the right, is going to be Yolanda Bennett. And Miss Yolanda is with the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society. So welcome her in, of course. So, hey, how are you doing this morning or this afternoon?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Good. I had a little dab before I got on here, so I forgot we was in the afternoon, not the morning.
Well, lucky you. I'm in Georgia. I'm in this dry state called Georgia. And what we have, we don't even have medical cannabis. We have THC, low dose THC. That's what we have.
I know. Like I was talking with Corey Lowe a few weeks ago. Hey, Tony, thank you for coming in. I was talking with Corey Lowe a few weeks ago, and she was telling us more about cannabis, access in Georgia and lack of access in Georgia. And so, our programs are so different.
You know what? I had an opportunity to review it. Because we're preparing for our upcoming for this Blue Ribbon committee study this week, and I'm glad I had a chance to talk to you yesterday because it was just like I went over Oklahoma's program. I'm like, y'all have home grow.
Yes, we do.
And I'm just looking at the registry and what you shared with me. I'm like, you know what? Georgia could learn a lot from Oklahoma. So.
Oh, I love that in some ways, but oh my gosh, Oklahoma has made so many mistakes that I would not want anyone to repeat those.
But that's good in a way, because sometimes you have to go out there in the battlefield and just look for mine. I guess the minefield. So I guess you just look at it like, okay, yeah. So yeah, it's a good thing. So, but it's great to have advocates like you to where you're able to let us know, no, you want to make sure you look out for this. That's the same thing that they do with legislation. A lot of times with legislation and with these cookie cutter type bills, it's the same thing. Like I see the bills that's mirrored here in Georgia. I saw the same bill in Ohio about the drink ban. And then I heard it's like they're trying to do this drink ban all over, which in a sense, if you think about, it's kind of like they're trying to, I don't know whether or not if they're really trying to get rid of those drinks or if they're just trying to create a stir for advertisement to get people rushing to boost up sales because they just want to test this thing out. So I'm always kind of like that conspiracy type theory type thing. So, yeah. So yeah. So
I love it. I'm the same way. Whenever I look at things, I'm like, yeah, this sounds really great, but what's the other side of it?
Yeah, seriously, because I look at. I guess it's kind of like the grass seems greener when you're looking inside. It's like, okay, we know what we don't have here, but we see what you all do. So I guess it's kind of like, man, it's great. I guess it's kind of like going to your grandparents for the summer. It's just wonderful. But then you have to go back to reality. So that's how it is when we even when we travel. We still bring our same products, the low dose THC products, because I don't know if it's just stuck in our head about trying to follow the rules, but it's difficult to do that when you're in pain and you're just trying to keep your sanity. And it's anxiety, getting ready to go, anxiety when you get there, and then even in legal states, we had difficulties. It's like, okay, yeah, we can go to the dispensary, but I'm thinking, wait a minute, I give them my ID. And then when I get on a plane, then what? So that's just been my big concern too. But anyway, I'm sorry.
No,
Just
you're good.
random.
Actually, if you and Angela get the opportunity ever to come through Oklahoma, you're definitely gonna let me know. One, we do have out of state patient licensing here, so we
Mhm.
can hook you up with the ability to purchase here while you're here legally. And so that would be an awesome thing to do for you to be able to go in and shop the dispensaries. You don't have to be a patient card holder. You can't purchase anything, but you can go in and look. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so you would be able to go in and see the plethora of products that we have on our retail shelves. It's so crazy how much stuff we have access to here.
So the prices there, because I found myself when we were in DC the last time, I looked at some of the
Mhm.
prices there, and I'm like, wait a minute. I think it was like uh the prices were horrible. Um in the dispensaries. I guess the prices were so high, no pun
Mm,
intended.
right?
And it made you think, it's like, okay, I would rather talk to my local plug in a sense. And it's like, I don't
Mhm.
understand, why are these prices so high? You know? It
Oklahoma
makes
prices were high until about 2 or 3 years ago. And
Mhm.
then we seen what we called the race to the bottom in our market. And it was where everyone was undercutting each other. They were trying to, get more sales than the other person. So they was, selling it for a cheaper price. And then a lot of things happened with regulations as well that kind of made it where it was more costly to even remain in business making the products, right? So we've seen a drop in pricing. And so, like, I can get a gram of rosin, which is, fresh pressed concentrate here in Oklahoma at a dispensary for $30 a gram. And I mean, it's pretty, it's nice, it's hash rosin, you know what I mean? It's like top of the top, and $30 a gram. That used to cost
Well,
me 75.
well, that's one thing that we're not real familiar with, because I remember the first time that I actually ingested cannabis. That was in
Mhm.
2017, because I needed it, because I started out with, I started out in corrections and, well, excuse me, ministry, corrections, and then trucking. And I needed it. And when I tried it, I mean, it was just it made me wonder, why is this plant illegal? And why are they
Right.
just keeping this away from everyone? And I realized, after my road rage was cured, maybe they don't want peace. I do believe that if cannabis was free throughout the world, without the stigma, I know it's some other plants that I'm still learning about, but if this plant was free,
Yeah.
to where people had access to this plant, where people aren't just spraying it with all kinds of crazy stuff to get the higher potency of THC,
Right.
and just give me some regular cannabis. And we're not familiar with a lot of that, because we had to go to YouTube University to figure out how to roll. And I still don't know how to roll. So basically, you got the pre-rolled stuffers. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, with Georgia last year, they stopped allowing the local sale of the THCA flower, like, basically cannabis.
Hmm.
But you can still have the mail order shipped in. So what were they trying to do here? So, but anyway.
Interestingly enough, Oklahoma just did the same thing in April of 2024, and they made us a total THC state, meaning that, Delta 9, THCA, all of the compounds are in a totality number instead of individualized by cannabinoid. And so, if you have a hemp product that say test at 0.32, that's technically medical marijuana in our state because it's over that total for the hemp compliance. It's crazy what they've done. Texas just did the same thing. I want to say Nebraska did it recently as well. There's been a few that have went to total THC, and there's some that have even like ceased the allowance of inhalable hemp products. So
And yeah, that right there in itself is just a problem for me, because they could have fixed that they always use those buzzwords, bad players. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
why not go ahead and address those bad players versus dealing with just everyday people? You know, the people that are in compliant. The CBD stores, they were hit hard last year. They were hit hard, and what they did basically, a lot of them moved over to Alabama, but Alabama started changing and tightening their laws. So it's like, what's next? What are they trying to do? And it wasn't a good look. And I
Yeah.
know with our organization and what we were trying to do was to try to stop that particular piece of bill all the way to trying to get the governor to veto it. However,
Yeah.
we didn't have the forces behind us because some of the CBD stores, they were for that particular bill. And I guess until they realized, wait a minute, that's going to get
It's
me
not so
too.
good.
And
Mm-hmm.
so everybody, realized that when we move forward with the ag commissioner now being the anslinger of Georgia. So basically, the agricultural commissioner is over all hemp products. They pretty much are like the FBI of cannabis, because usually we call it the GBI here. They used to send like different products to get tested for different court cases to the GBI, but they had a backlog. So now the agriculture commissioner, they have some type of task force now. It's like a
Okay.
not to say military, but they have like a police type force for hemp. So they're
Right.
policing hemp. So anyway.
Yeah, no, we've got Department of Agriculture takes care of hemp in our state, and then the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority takes care of the medical marijuana side of anything that is a licensed entity. And this is what we were kind of talking about yesterday on the phone, and that is that there's this like void space in the state of Oklahoma in rules, regulations, and enforcement, where if it's over 0.3 of Delta 9, the Department of Ag says, hey, it's not my problem. And if it's not through a licensed entity, then it's not the OMMA's problem. So then whose problem is it? Maybe OBN? We have no idea. AG's Oklahoma Marijuana Task Force people? We have no idea. But I mean, you can buy mushroom gummies and all the THCA crap you want, and all the 7.0 and Kratom and everything like that. You can buy all that crap in every gas station on every corner in our state. It's horrible.
And see, that's what I was saying yesterday. Basically, they need to create some type of serve safe type program when it comes to those gas stations, and have a require, unless they have a trained professional has gone through that particular class on duty. Every time they can sell during those hours, like, okay, hey, I'm in the Bible Belt of Georgia. Okay, back in the day, or I think it's still now, you can't buy alcohol on Sundays until afternoon. So
Right.
in a sense, you just, that's for local gas stations that want to do that. Or just go ahead and allow it to only be sold in specialty stores where you have the proper licensing or whatever, even though it's regulation, but then that's how you're able to eliminate the bad players, and keep the education,
Let's see here. We've got a couple of comments real quick before we think about our break. So let's see. Tony said he's in the house. Linda Ruth is in Missouri. She said, hey, sis. So she is my best friend of 32 years, Yolanda, and she just recently got diagnosed with cancer. And so we are going to see what we can do. She's in Missouri, so I'm not sure what Missouri's program is specifically like. I got to hook up with somebody over there and see what I can do to get my friend involved in some programs over there to help her if she's able to. So, and let's see. Tony also says Moon Rocks in Wilmington, North Carolina is 120 a zip right now. Okay. So, Yolanda, have you ever had Moon Rocks?
Well, I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know. I don't know because being new to this, people say, hey, this is a moon rock. Oh, wow, let me try it, right? Kind of thing.
Right.
From a trusted source. But who knows if they know if it's a real moon rock. So I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah. They're pretty intense. They're pretty stout, that's for sure. He says he's even paid up to $2.75 an ounce for those. That's crazy. Here in Oklahoma, Moon Rocks. I'm trying to think of how much the container weight was that used to be the one Charles used to sell. I think it was 3.5 grams is what it was that was in the Moon Rock container, and I think retail it was only $40. So
that's the key,
it wasn't
right?
a lot.
So that's keef, right? That's
It's like
cannabis bud.
Nug rolled in oil and then rolled in keef, and then left to cure. Yeah. So, and then let's see here. Aunt Katrina, you so funny. Oh, why is it doing that? I don't know what I just did, Hippie. That's funny. There we go. Let's see. Hippie says, I often catch myself wondering if we really need rec here. We really need to finish and make sure medical. I agree. Like, we're going through a rec ballot currently in the state of Oklahoma. I am behind it. I am supporting it now. I started out not really in opposition, but just in curiosity of the differences. So I'm full behind it now because it's going to help to dismantle the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority, which at this point I think needs to happen. And so we need to rebuild that, restaff it, restructure it, redo something, the whole damn thing. So yeah, I mean, I think that we're already pretty much wrecked. Yolanda and I were talking about this yesterday too, because in the state of Oklahoma, one of the other big differences is we don't have qualifying conditions for you to get a medical card here. So if you have, anxiety, depression, nausea, things like that, you tell that to them whenever you go to your doctor recommendation appointment, but then it never gets submitted to the regulatory agency as to actual what your ailments are because it's not required. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Kind of like that HIPAA thing they're trying to protect, that they're saying okay. Yeah.
They just, whenever they passed it, medical marijuana program as State Question 788, they just put it in there where there was never any qualifying condition. Some states you have very limited, like Texas with their compassionate use program. There's very few, medical conditions that qualify in Texas in their medical compassionate use program, where state of Oklahoma, you don't have to put really anything. With Georgia, do you guys have restricted things that they allow you to apply for it for?
Allow for you to apply for as far as with the cannabis card? I think we have 19 conditions. However, what they wrote into that particular law, this might be 17, 18, they put some conditions in there to where they say, well, irretractable pain would cover everything, because a lot of those conditions would have some of those symptoms of that irretractable pain. Then you have peripheral neuropathy or some of the other ones that they write, because I know it's okay, hey, if you've taken gabapentin or anything like that, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be approved for your medical cannabis card. But the downfall is that there's some end stages is there with the legislation this past year. I know that they basically said that with the bills that we did have to move forward to actually have a comprehensive medical cannabis program, they basically had the language to be changed in the bill, but it didn't get to the floor for a vote. It didn't get to the floor because of the Speaker of the House and the Lieutenant Governor, which makes me wonder. Well, of course, that's up under the gold dome talk, because I didn't hear it myself for them to tell me directly, but this is just different advocates that spoke with me and let me know that this is who stopped us from moving forward with this particular program.
Right.
It wasn't an ideal bill, but as far as conditions, no, they would have added some more conditions with the legislation this year, but it's very limited here. Yeah.
Well, we're going to catch up on that and more stuff here in just a few minutes. Wow, shit, that was some crazy lighting right there. Whoa, I don't know if that flashed across my face or not, but that was insane. Okay, So another thing is Mendo Dope and their song, How It Used to Be. So Hippie's going to take us out of there, and I'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
It just ain't like it used to be. You were still in diapers. I don't know what happened, but the game has changed. But you know us, we always gonna stay the same. Rooted deep, Mendo dope. You were still in diapers. How it used to be. I've been in it for a minute, this ain't new to me. Everything I do is for my culture and community. A cannabis judge, no there ain't no overruling me. This how it used to be. Gorilla growing in the mountains, then you move a pea. Stack chips, reinvest, this is who I be. A farmer from the cuts, been thinking about it, puffing on his blunt. This is how it used to be. Back when hippies ran the hill, moved up in the mountains trying to make an honest meal. How it used to be. Before the choppers flew the sky, living free, growing weed, that's my 9 to 5. How it used to be. When we got a decent price, the pie was big enough for everyone to get a slice. How it used to be. Back when Eddie Lep was growing, the hills full of greenery, but you ain't even knowing how it used to be. When the low was 22 a pea, we was living good cause the money really grew on trees. Used to be a backyard full of 25. In 1996, that medical arrived, yeah it used to be. More than just a money making game, this is how you earn respect, put some resin on your name. I seen a lot of change and I never will forget the ones who paved the way so that I could represent what it used to be. I'm a farmer, this ain't new to me, a weed nerd. Yeah, I got the game of sub cooling me. Used to be a small time dealer from the tribe. Now I'm on a mission to get everybody high. Keep it traditional, how it used to be. Underground black market when I root a seed. I'm 32 degrees below zero. Killing corporations, I'm the dank superhero. How it used to be. I've been in it for a minute, this ain't new to me. Everything I do is for my culture and community. A cannabis judge, no there ain't no overruling me. This how it used to be. Gorilla growing in the mountains, then you move a pea. Stack chips, reinvest, this is who I be. A farmer from the cuts, been thinking about it, puffing on this blunt. This ain't how it used to be. What happened to variety? Everything you growing is similar, don't inspire me. Lost all originals, we looking for the taste. That old school haze and that kush land race. How it used to be. Not only about the THC, we don't need a test result to know that it's some fire weed. Used to be some outlaws growing all the dank. Now you got Chaz trying to swim up in the tank with some great whites. No, that ain't the right move. End up in the raw neck of the woods. You plant food how it used to be. Talking to the roller still ain't cool with me. Me, I've been the same since the hemp chain jewelry was hanging from my neck. There used to be respect, used to be COD. Now they cannot cut the check. Neglect fake growers, nothing but some crowns. Back then there was none of these corporate farms around. How it used to be. Bank account was in the ground when our gramps was getting 5 for them purple kush pounds. How it used to be. We was living in a dream. Most of the farms I grew up around no longer on a scene. Used to be about the medication, they forgot about the patients. Yeah, we want it legal, but we don't need all these regulations. But I'm still about that resonation. You were still in diapers, ganja farming was my occupation. You were still in diapers.
Are you searching for affordable products and great rosin? Well, look no further. Whether you're keeping it simple or going all out, we've got you covered. Sunny's for everyday deals, and Hash RX for that premium fire. Sunny's keeps your stash affordable, giving you value every single day. When you want the best, Hash RX. Oklahoma's premium live rosin. No solvents, no shortcuts. Affordable or premium, the choice is yours. Find us at Oklahoma dispensaries.
I got that Hash RX right there is what I was saying. So
yeah. So yeah, you got that Hash RX. Thanks a lot. I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
Thank you to our sponsors, Hash RX and Sunnyside. I cannot even speak right. So they've been our sponsor for about 2 weeks. Glad to have those guys on board. If you have not already hit the like and subscribe here at WTHC Radio, please do that now. As well as you can go to my page at Summer Parker /Patients for Safe Access. Give me a like and subscribe as well. Yolanda, do you guys have a page for Georgia Medical Cannabis?
Yes, we have a couple of them. We have for our Facebook is at GMCS 710, and that's also for IG. But the one on IG that's most active is Georgia underscore, I mean, GMed underscore cannabis.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah.
a little bit of backstory. So Yolanda and I last year in September, when Charles and I traveled to Washington, D.C. for the Validated Voices Summit with the Americans for Safe Access. Yolanda and her wife, Angela, are both members as well. And so they came and we got to meet them and, do a couple things the last day together. And so how long have you been with Americans for Safe Access? Can you tell us that?
I can actually say probably about a year now.
Okay.
If I can remember, yeah. And I think it was last year we saw Steph at the reunion. I think it was the reunion, or was it the symposium or something?
I think y'all came to the summit the last day because that's where we met you guys
Yes.
at. And you guys
Mhm.
all headed over to the reunion for classmates that were there
Yes.
from University of Maryland. And your wife, Angela, she actually completed the medical cannabis science program. Is that correct?
Yes, 2 years. She's class of 2022. I know she's driving right now. She's watching, but I don't know whether or not she's able to pull over. But I know hopefully she's not watching while she's driving. Hopefully she's just
Right.
listening or
Don't do
pulled
anything
over
dangerous.
somewhere. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And it's funny because I had thought that you and your wife had both gained the degrees, and you guys did in a way because you did the classes right beside her. So you have the same knowledge that she does, and you're able to apply that, to all things cannabis in your life and in your journey.
Yeah, because I love Dr. Coop, Dr. Buckley, Dr. Chad. I mean, I just the ones that just stood out from some of the classes that she took, and they were just amazing. And that particular program, even I'm a non-degreed having person,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to, not to say that I'm just. I guess a lot of people will think about those programs like, well, nah, I don't know whether or not if I'm gonna move any further, but I'm thinking maybe it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. It was easy to follow along, put it this way. I was able to comprehend, understand,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned quite a bit to where a lot of the things that I once was spewing about cannabis is the savior to everything, but not realizing that there are some negative things about cannabis too. And so that's one thing that we take pride in, as far as to make sure that we share all of the information and let people make that decision if they want to use it or not.
Yeah. And that's funny because that's exactly what Patients for Safe Access is we are a group of patients who banded together who wanted to determine the safety and accuracy of the products we were buying. And in the process of doing that, we've been able to make people aware of brands and products that are trustworthy and brands and products that aren't. And so it's kind of the same concept of, building that trust there with awareness.
Yeah, for sure. And even here in Georgia, that's one reason why before we actually say, hey, we're gonna support this is, and that's one thing. Yeah. As far as the products and stuff that we do have here, the dispensaries that we do have here, we have 6 license uh holders for the low dose THC program. We have
In
3
Atlanta, right?
companies in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area, all of Georgia, basically. And we have 2 larger licenses, and then we have 4 smaller ones. Right now, we have one that's open for the Schedule 2. Well, actually, okay, not to name names or anything like that. I'm trying my best not to name names because I'm
Right.
like, not going to do that. But we do have licensed dispensaries here. The 2
Okay.
larger groups, those 2 groups right there have been operating since 2023, I believe. And the program here in Georgia has existed since 2019 once they they changed the law here. And we had to continue to get our medical cannabis card for a card that we couldn't use. So all those years into finally when we had the first dispensary to open, it was like, okay, cool. But
Right.
the problem with these dispensaries is that the products aren't consistent. So that's one thing that we're going to bring up during the Blue Ribbon Committee, that look, we need to ensure that the products are quality products to where they don't degrade like they do, because you go one time, it's like, okay, it's a great product. You go again, it's like a totally different thing. And that's another reason why we're pushing for full plant. Also, home grow. We need to have that option there, because not everyone can go to the dispensary because of the feet you have to be away from the different daycares, churches, and with the different regulations. So, okay, fine, cool. Allow us to home grow. If we are able to home grow, then that would be more affordable for the patients that can't, afford to go out to, to the dispensaries because they're expensive. So, yeah.
So at the dispensaries that you do have in Georgia, what products are available for purchase to a cannabis, patient?
We have topicals, sublinguals, and there's this one company that has some type of thing where they do with the membrane that goes on the membrane, an inhalable type thing, but it's like it coats the membrane inside your nose.
We've had a few of those here.
So I'm not familiar with that. Also, they have like different versions where they have the isolates type, and then they have like more of the full spectrum type thing where they have with the low dose THC. My issue with the dispensaries here is like, okay, yeah, these products are, say for instance, I have this bottle of cannabis here, because they have like gummies, but they can't call them gummies. They call them some other name. I don't know what a trochee is. I don't know what a well, I guess I know like the lozenges, because I know some of them call them lozenges, some lozenges, or some of them call them trochee. But it's like, okay, fine. Just some of the language in that particular law, it's like they know how to maneuver to get the products there for the patient. Then there are products to where they have the dissolvables, capsules. But all it is the powder form of the THC inside of a capsule. But it's just like, okay, I'm looking at this. It's not consistent, because it's like, I can't really just say that it's not the best, but it works. It might be good for it works to a certain degree, but a lot of people can't digest or process the MCT oils that was made with them. So that's another reason why we need to have inhalation here in Georgia. We need to have everything here. We need to have the full access to the plant, because these so-called what do you call that? Lost my train of thought. Yeah, these oh my God, I forgot just that quick. Yeah, synthetic. The synthetic form of cannabis. You might as well go ahead and just get you some Marinol or the other products, because it's like, what are you using to make this product what it is? What additives are you using for this medication? Some of the products that we get are full of sugar. And I was like, it's like you give
Not
them
the
sugar.
That's medicine. That's my medicine.
Look, not to just say it's all, but I'm not. It's something, but it's not good enough. And they need to make sure they put the patients first. And I know we talked about the licenses. I'm like, you know what? If they put it in the power of the patients, if we had more licensees here to where they allow other people to get involved, to where we might get that company that comes on to say, hey, look, we care about the patients, because our motto at the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society is patients over profits. And that's one thing that's true, because financially, we don't have nothing to gain from this. And we just happen to keep the organization going because we're fighting for, the freedom of the plant, safe access for the plant.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, but anyway.
All right. So we got a couple of comments over here to the side again. Let me see here. Thank you, Aunt Katrina. She's watching. Let's see. Missouri has a pretty good program, somebody said. And can you imagine Grandpa driving cannabis around? Yes, I can, Katrina. Sherry says, love Mendo dope. WTHC Radio said happy 420, everybody. Mike Maz says, peace from New Haven, Connecticut. Never bought from a dispensary. I prefer to grow my own medicine. I know it's clean and safe. Dude, I'm 100% on that. I still have to buy from a dispensary currently because we're just now getting our home grow set back up. I had to apply for a caretaker license, and in Oklahoma we have a caretaker license, and so someone else is able to actually grow that for me and me receive the benefit of my plant and product, so which is awesome. I actually love that part. So that just blew Yolanda's mind. I can see it over there. Mike's also asking, have we ever tried the cannabis infused flavored drinks? So I've tried them. There's a brand here in Oklahoma that's in other states as well. Rhymes with Okies is what I'll say. And I've tried their 250 milligram THC hard lemonade. Actually, Charles tried it too, and it laid my old man out. Like,
200 milligrams?
250 milligrams. Oh my gosh, Yolanda, you can go into a dispensary here in our state and go and buy a 10,000 milligram package of edibles. It's straight Delta 9.
Wow. No wonder they are.
We are the wild west.
Yeah, because it's like that could be a good thing and a bad thing. Without education, needs to be education, should be mandatory education when it comes to that, because you're gonna have somebody sit there and eat the whole thing, and then they make it bad for the rest of us who's like, wait a minute, you're supposed to go low and go on up, go slow, go low and move up. But Charles, the day
that he consumed that 250 milligram lemonade, he also ate 100 milligrams of RSO gummies, Rick Simpson oil gummies infused. And so he had like a way too high dose for him. And I was trying to tell him, let me go to the dispensary and get some CBD for you. And like, he's over there like dying in a position, thinking that the world is ending type of a thing. So I laugh now. It wasn't a fun moment, like he went on a ride.
So with that happening, did he, I never tried the peppercorns. I heard about the peppercorns because I know it's always great to have CBD if if you are going to ingest and not familiar with the dosage or whatever that's inside of it. How are you going to react? Because you never know how your endocannabinoid is going to go ahead and process this. Because you think about it's like you're there and it's like because I call it the elevator, because you could take one product this one day and then the next time you take it is totally different, because I guess it just depends on that moment, because for me it goes directly to where it needs to go. But
let's see, what is your opinion on Delta 8 derived from hemp? That's a question from one of our viewers. And Hippie said it's all crap. That's his feeling.
As far as Delta 8, to be honest, in the beginning, I swore by it because that's all we had. However, after much more research and looking at what's being made with it, I don't feel comfortable for Delta 8 or anything like that I don't feel comfortable with heavy synthetic type cannabinoids. I don't. I mean, even though they say lab tested, the FDA approved so much pharmaceuticals that are currently going through litigation now. So just saying. So I can't really just say anything that I can really just trust, except for a plant that I know, okay, if I know the water, this right here. I know people say, well, you don't have to know from start to finish, but it's great to know. But at least I know, like with Delta 8, I don't feel good about Delta 8.
I don't either. I got offered a Delta 8 vape a couple of years back, and I hit it once, and it like made me feel very weird, and I didn't
Mhm.
like the feeling that I got off of it. And so, and now that we've done all the testing we've done, we've tested quite a few hemp compliant products that claim to be hemp compliant that are not. There's some, have had pesticides in them. There was a company called West Coast Canna that I bought their product out of Dallas, Oklahoma, or Dallas, Texas. I started to say Dallas, Oklahoma. See, the fucking dabs, man, hash RX. Anyways, Dallas, Texas. At either Retro Revolution or World of Smoke and Vape last year in October. And when we brought them back to Oklahoma, of course, we transported them under the impression that they were legally, federally, compliant with the hemp laws. And we get it to Oklahoma and we submit it for testing. And lo and behold, every single one of their products had failing levels of pesticides in it. And the problem that I have with the hemp market right now is that there are not regulations and rules and requirements for them to test for contaminants in any THCA and or Delta 8 product. Okay. The only requirement is to have it tested for the cannabinoids so that you can put onto the label the total THC of how beautiful your product is, fluff and stuff numbers. So that's the only requirement, right? And so that's my issue with Delta 8 THCA products, is because they are not tested to the same standard that medical marijuana is, that is meant to be medicine.
Yeah, I get that because I look back like here when we were trying to get some relief, and that just shows you how a lot of us were desperate and just trying to get a sense of relief. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is what this is, but that's why we need more education and more people should know, look, this is what this plant does, and this,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times people are using it wrong, because I realized too this year about how sacred the plant is. And so that's another thing
Mm-hmm.
that I'm having to cope with. Now, I'm not going to say cope with, but I'm actually awakening to about
Yeah.
realizing how sacred this plant is. And it's not just about
Mm-hmm.
getting high. It's a healer, and it heals. It heals itself. If it raises the THC level just to heal itself when it's in distress, imagine what it'll do for you.
Yep.
It saved my life, and those who knew me before cannabis, I walked around with a mean mug, which I still try my best to keep, because that's my shield in a sense. But it's
Right.
it's it's difficult to stop smiling a lot of times when you utilize it, because it's like a breath of fresh air. It freed me from, I guess, some of the chains, the shackles that I was in when it came to my condition, when it came to pain.
Yep.
Whether my threshold, my thresh level of pain is higher, because it's like, that's why when I ended up in ICU that time, I didn't realize that I was really sick until
Yeah.
they put me in ICU. And it was because I was so accustomed to being in so much pain that I didn't realize that this was a different kind of pain.
Yep.
But cannabis is what saved my life and what keeps me going to keep fighting for this, because I want to get back to that time when I woke up and I tried cannabis that first time, and I woke up pain free. I ate an edible, a sugar
Mm-hmm.
cookie with a little green icing on it. Woke up the next morning, I cried, because why? That was the first time in years I woke up with no pain.
Yep.
And so yeah.
Power of the plant, man. Power of the plant for sure. So that's freaking insane. Let's see. Hippie says that all vapes in Pennsylvania are synthetic nicotine. So are you talking, well, you guys don't have cannabis vapes in Pennsylvania, do you? Just nicotine vapes, right, Hippie? And then says if it's got any synthetic in it, just say no. That's it. Also over processing. Okay. So sorry. let's talk about ASA for a second real quick, because one of the things that we learned about together, I guess, in that meeting and that summit was about rescheduling, descheduling, and those types of things, right? And so one of the conversations that Steph hits on in that meeting is about Schedule 6. We have conversations going on in our nation's capital currently about a rescheduling bill that's coming through. I think it's on the House side that has to do with marijuana as well. So there's some things moving, which is awesome. We finally have some movement in DC again. So what is your take on either being Schedule 3 or Schedule 6 or descheduled together?
Well, as far as Schedule 3, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know, but my first question that came to mind, what about the adult use market kind of thing? What would happen to them? I was like, eh. And then I was like, well, yeah, we could get our meds. But overall, no, I don't want Schedule 3. Schedule 6, and after reading the Cannabis and Cannabinoid, is it Medical Cannabis and Cannabinoid Act?
I think
yeah. I read that and I was like, you know what, that makes sense, because not only did she include medical cannabis, it's including hemp, it's including the medicinal plants. And it's just like, look, these are plants that were part of the pharmacopoeia, because echinacea used to be out of the pharmacopoeia, but now they went ahead and added it back to where it's available now. So a lot of times people don't realize that, no, Schedule 3, I'm not for Schedule 3, because that will lock it down. As far as descheduling, yes, I would love to deschedule completely. But it will also allow the Wild Wild West, as you all are seeing there in Oklahoma, and why you're fighting so hard for the testing of the products. And I appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's just overall, if we're able to do this, if they are able to listen to the Schedule 3, the Schedule 6, they'll realize that it would be beneficial. And plus, the DEA won't have to worry about it being in their hands anymore. They're not familiar with it anyway. So then it'll be in their own department, let us have our own, because evidently y'all have been over-regulating this for years. And where is it now? Even back in 1972, doing that, what's his name? The Schaefer Report. They didn't want cannabis to be part of the Schedule 1, but no, they wanted it there. And you look at the fact that they want to keep this plant in a manner of, I don't know, I'm just watching the news. I'm just watching the news and how they're trying to form these bills that's coming up. I know I'm rambling now. I'm sorry, but
no, you're good. You're good. I mean, now Schedule 6, if I understand it correctly, will basically allow it to not just be for cannabis, but would also allow for things like psilocybin and psychoactive, compounds. And Mike had actually asked on here, he said, are you educated on the benefits of non-psychoactive CBG? In the mornings, gives me clarity and focus. It also cleans our receptors, which makes for a better THC experience, and I don't need much THC. Says I'm completely against any rescheduling. Big Pharma will definitely take over, and Monsanto will start genetically modifying seeds. Yeah. Oh, wow. Drop that hammer.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm that. Yeah.
We actually had some big pharma people here in Oklahoma recently that were looking at some of the grows and processing facilities in our state. And it made a few people in our industry be sitting on the edge of their seats. You know what I mean? Because we don't know how to feel about pharma snooping around. So, sorry. It wasn't big pharma. My bad. It was Philip Morris.
Ooh.
Right.
Yeah.
Hang on, Mike. Hang on. Let me drop that mic.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about what a lot of those cigarette companies have done to, the tobacco itself is not the harm. What's
Mhm.
harm is the additives that they add to it. So my question would be, what will you all add to this cannabis? And that's just like with a lot of
Mhm.
these different synthetic forms and all these different pop-ups, these white labeling type products and the stuff that's being shipped in from overseas, not knowing where it's coming from and how it's processed. Just
Mhm.
because it gives you that psychoactive effect doesn't mean that it's always good. So you just have to look at
No.
everything overall. It's like, wait a minute, no, this you might be feeling
E-
good, but yeah.
Even people like that smoke blunts, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And smoke cigars as a normal way of consuming tobacco. Go
Mhm.
to the Patients for Safe Access Facebook page, guys, and go through and look at the different testing that we've done in the last 2 years. We've even tested stuff like Dutchies and Backwoods and Swisher Sweets and stuff like that. And I think there was maybe one product in the tobacco field that we tested that actually passed that just failed for pesticides or heavy metals. And so we're up here wrapping up our blunts and stuff with that, shit and smoking it. And they're getting us from, any angle they can.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not good because that's still like a control because it's a because really and truly that's why it's a race to who controls the plant because the
Mm-hmm.
plant is a healer itself and because everybody wants to take credit for that healing. And so you
Yeah.
look at the fact like, okay, we want to make sure that we have the market cornered so that we have, so people think it's us, it's
Yeah.
our product. But the thing is, if they open up and say, wait a minute, no, this product is pretty good because it's like, why do I need to go ahead and get this name brand versus this store brand or
Mm-hmm.
my homemade type, my home grow kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's just like, it's a great product. You don't need any additives to it, and CBG. Yeah, I'm with CBG too.
I do too. I like CBG. I like CBN, CBD,
Yeah.
obviously. My
Yeah.
dog is panicking right now because I'm in
Oh,
Oklahoma and we, get some pretty nice sized storms around the time of the year. And I'm looking out my window and it's pretty dark out there. I ain't gonna lie. And she does not like storms. And so I started giving her CBD for the
mhm.
storms. And so let's see. Can you please repeat the website or group, please? Yes. Okay. So on Facebook, you're going to find it under Patients for Safe Access, and then you can also find a lot of it on my page as well, where you can find me on Facebook, which is Summer Parker. So, but yeah, a lot of it, most of it's over at the Patients for Safe Access Facebook site. So, and we've tested literally soil, water, papers, wraps, cones, cigars, medical marijuana, hemp products, you name it. And if we need to research into it, to find out what's going on and, how we can figure out where a problem has happened at, then we'll do that. So, but so tell
Yeah.
me about Georgia Medical Cannabis Society and like funding. Are you guys, do you guys do GoFundMe or anything like that? Or do you have a link for people to donate to your organization?
Yes, we do. We have it on the website. Um, I just have to put it out there more because I know like with volunteers and like with volunteers, people have lives and stuff and just how much they can commit to doing and volunteering and doing stuff. So a lot of the weight is on our hands. And so what we're doing is sharing as much and a lot of the website, everything that I'm pretty much taking care of that, managing that, social media, that type of thing, until we are
Yeah.
able to get that type of funding. So yeah, we have a GoFundMe page. We also think I'm gonna start promoting that popcorn. We're selling popcorn, the donuts. We're planning an actual fundraiser in November. Just trying to get that together because it, as far as funding, we've been self-funded since 2019, and we've got donations here and there. We're grateful for those, but as far as this particular year, it has not been the best because um, even when it comes to the LGBTQ, I was talking to one of my colleagues, and she was letting me know that they had pulled out it was this one company that usually donates like $800,000 to the LGBTQ pride thing, and
Hmm.
they pulled out. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, if they're pulling out from this and people are real tight with their money because they're not
Mhm.
sure about this economy. And that's even with us now. We made a decision that if the funding is not available, we're not going to go ahead and continue to have to keep giving out a lack. We just have to
Right.
accept the fact that, we had to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first, because a lot of times when you are building an organization, that's your direct focus. That's what I was thinking. Like, all I do is work, advocacy, anything, but no time for really time off. But
Yeah. And no
what
income.
no, yeah, no income. And it was like a lot of people's like, wait a minute, you getting paid to do that? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm fighting for my meds. Now, what I learned while I'm fighting for my meds is something that I can get paid for, as far as the legislation, bill tracking, all that other stuff. Now, that's one thing that this year, that's part of our fundraising. If they want a certain tier or whatever, so that they can help with our legislative issues, we're definitely going to make sure, if you want to make sure you're able to keep up, we'll be
Right.
there for you. I mean, because a lot of times people, they think, well, you've got to be getting paid. You down here, you spending all this money. No, we're spending money
Mhm.
because it's like, look, the only selfish thing that I do have in this is me trying to get my meds so I can feel better.
Yeah.
And if y'all come along, hey, that's cool. But but that's it. But financially,
Yeah.
fin- no money, you know?
No, I feel you there. We've been pretty much self-funded as well since we started, and our organization is only about a year old currently. And we've been fortunate to get some recent funding donated to us, which we appreciate both of those donors. Unlike you, I appreciate every donation we can get,
Yeah.
And like Mike Maz says, you can't pour from an empty cup.
No, you
So
can't.
we,
And
we
I
both,
won't sell out either.
yeah,
Ain't selling
right.
out. Ain't selling out.
Nah, ain't about that life for sure. So, one of the other things I wanted to ask you about really quick is the Cannabis Cowboys. So, you speak about legislation, and Corey Lowe told me about the Cannabis Cowboys in your capital. Is that a group that you're closely affiliated with, that you work with to create new legislation?
That's the first time I heard about it. And Corey, you could have told me about the Cannabis Cowboys, because hey, this is my belt buckle kind of thing. That's just like, love. I mean, no, I don't see myself getting on a horse, but I would love to find it. They sound like a cool group. I don't even know who are the Cannabis Cowboys. Corey, who are the Cannabis Cowboys?
Wait, call Corey after this because I
I
don't
will.
remember their name. But they was a group that like she was needing stuff for her kid,
Okay.
and because the legislation didn't pass that year, they actually helped get her and her child to Colorado to get access to the medicine that her child needed.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And these are legislators in the Capitol in Georgia, that had went out of their own pocket. One legislator loaned her his wife's van to get there and
Oh,
to stay
wow.
there with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna say, Georgia, whoever those people are, kudos to you. Huge pat on the back from Oklahomies, because our dinosaurs in the Capitol to take a lesson in humility and humanity, and that to me was one of the best lessons I heard.
And that was great. That was great. However, that's why I say it's like individuals, with the different
Hmm.
individuals, but then you have those same stern faced people that see what they've gone through just to get into that ADA difficulty, uh accessible building. And
Yep.
so seeing them push the key, I wasn't there, but me myself having to go up there now with my walker, it's very
Hmm.
difficult. And
Hmm.
to see them, and to have to still be in the same place we were in 2019. No movement,
Yeah.
no growth, not even the change of the name. And those same people heard those same stories about Corey Lowe,
Yeah.
her baby, and the rest of them. Those, they're not babies anymore. They're not. They're not. They're adults. 10
Uh-huh.
years. And the program, the governor,
As an
Georgia,
advance.
the legislature has not, and they don't realize, like in the red area, the red counties, their legislators are the one that are voting against and holding up the progress when it comes to the freedom of the plant. And then I know you
Mm.
can't just go with the different legislators.
Get them out of them
You can,
seats.
yeah, but the thing is, look, I understand you want to vote your party, get somebody in your party, or just let your legislator know this is my common interest. This is what I want you to vote for. This is what I'm interested in. However, it's difficult because you can't just say I support this candidate because they support cannabis, because they could have a
Yeah.
whole slew of messed up other, pillars to their campaign. So I'm just like, no, you got to make sure you check their entire platform and what they're for, because they could be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm for cannabis, but I'm also for guns and schools and stuff like that. I mean, that kind
Right.
of
For
but
sure.
yeah, so I mean, that's just the issue. So if we are able to change the mindset of some of those, excuse me, if they're able to change the hypocrisy up under the gold dome, because the gold dome is full of hypocrisy. You say
Mhm.
you want to protect the kids, however, you want to introduce a gambling bill. You want to protect the
Mhm.
kids, but then you're okay with the constitutional carry. And we had the
Right.
mass shootings here in Georgia. You want to protect the kids, but then you want to go ahead and say, okay, alcohol we're trying to get it to where we can serve alcohol before noon, even though it don't matter. Kids gonna get what they want to get. And the
Right.
problem is the responsibility. People need to be responsible for their stuff. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with all that. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else we needed to bring up? I think we're about rounded out. Is there anything that you can think of, Yolanda, that we missed?
Oh, I don't know. I know it's been cool because I'm
Like this?
like I'm just glad I'm not behind the scenes having to work the tool, because I'm like usually stressing trying to like, oh, get this and put this here and put that
Right?
there. Thank you, the hippie, for everything.
Yeah. All right. He says they are using cannabis as a reason for people to vote for them, but then we vote for them and they do what they want after they get in. 100% happens all the time. And the only thing you can do there is get them out as quick as you can again. So,
I, I,
uh,
exactly. I agree.
Mike says, check out medical marijuana program. Okay, actually, it's hippie. Put that one up there for me, if you will. It's the last one. It says, check out medical marijuana program. We help people exit alcohol, narcotics, and dangerous pharmaceuticals with cannabinoids and cannabis. We have Zoom meetings daily. We do step work, and we grow together in recovery with cannabinoids and cannabis. Love that. Charles and I had talked about there needed to be some type of recovery treatment program that was strictly based on cannabis and counseling. And so that's what you're describing, right there. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
That's really cool.
yeah.
Where are you based out of? Where is that? Is that
Um,
Georgia, or where was that MMP? Where are you based out of?
you're right. Let's see. We'll give him a chance to respond there. I'm sure he'd be typing.
Yeah, but that, you know what, that is just like so cool, because that's one things that we really and truly need, the
Mhm.
educational classes for those people, first time ingesters, because I didn't know. Oh, New Hampshire.
Okay.
What was that?
Okay.
Yeah, that was our first time ingesting in 2017, and I didn't know. And it's like you talk to the people and have someone there with you, possibly, so that you can talk to them about the experience, because you have people like me who never used it before. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't. Funny story. I
Mhm.
was dating someone years ago. We're
Hey,
married.
Angela, turn it off. No.
I know she knows it. No, she knows this story. She knows this story. But no, I was dating somebody some years ago. I was so green, right? And
Mhm.
I didn't realize that when she would say, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the car to get a cookbook," and I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm in there doing whatever I'm doing. She would come back
Mhm.
in, no cookbook. okay, she go out there to get a pen. I guess after a while, so wait a minute, 3-4 months later, and then I finally figured out, wait a minute, what's going on? I was like, I said, do you smoke? Because I didn't know, because I didn't really just know what cannabis was, but it's just like, that's how green I was. I didn't know what cannabis was really, because first time I tried to purchase some, it was bay leaves. So, hey.
Right. Right. So when you were talking about legislative tracking and things like that you do on your website for Georgia Medical Cannabis, we have a group in Oklahoma that is called ORCA, and we've had Jed on our podcast before, and it stands for Oklahomans for Responsible Cannabis Action. And they're the ones that have been spearheading the adult use recreational ballot or initiative petition. Not ballot, initiative petition. We're not into ballot yet, but we're going to get there. But anyways, they're the ones spearheading that. And his website is www.orca.com. And he does a bunch of legislative tracking stuff. And his website is laid out really cool too. I think you guys are probably a lot similar in how you've designed your programs there. And let's see. 837 Bleezy says will make a difference in that respect as far as therapy centers that are cannabis based. I agree, because it will actually allow us the opportunity to get some research in there as well, finally. So, and we talked about researches and grants and stuff like that. And, it's something that we need, again, that federal legalization, that federal framework for them to allow us any type of federal research, though.
Yeah, because I saw that they were cutting that. I think they cut like $800 million here in Georgia for just health grants. A lot of the schools here were cutting back. Emory University was cutting back on some of the research programs, and they had like they had some of the Ebola virus patients to come through. I'm just thinking of all the research that's not going to be available, and the progress that we've made so far is like all because of all these cuts.
Crazy. Oh, our world today, right? But hey, cannabis saved both our lives.
Yeah, I just want access. I just want to be able to just pick up my dab rig or whatever, even though a lot of stuff is new. We don't know about a lot of things we never experienced hash or anything like that. So it's a lot of things that we haven't experienced, so that, including the psychoactive mushrooms. We haven't, but I had the non-psychoactive, which does help versus Adderall, because I know you probably seen me skipping here and there, their ADHD kicks in. It's like, me
too. That's all good. Well, Yolanda, thank you so much for being my guest this week. This has been awesome. You're so beautiful. I absolutely adore you and Angela both, and cannot wait to talk to you ladies again in the future and see what you continue to do with Georgia Medical Cannabis Society.
Sounds good.
So, all right, guys, much love, one love, and we will catch you guys later. Take us out, hippie.
Bright like the healing rays. 420 patients, we stand as one. Safe access for everyone. Oh, we rise up, lifted higher. Medicine fueled by love and fire. Together we blaze. Together.